All right, everybody. I'd like to invite you all to take your seats. Let's take your seats because I'd like to introduce our next Fireside Q&A here at the Planet MicroCap Showcase Vegas 2024, being hosted by Mathieu from Rivemont MicroCap Fund. And his Fireside Q&A will be with Todd Gibson from Yerbaé Brands.
Thank you, Bobby. So I'll just start with the quick disclosure. The fund I manage is a shareholder of Yerbaé. So Todd, maybe we could start with a quick description of Yerbaé Brands, and you just give us the elevator pitch.
Sure. So when Carrie and I, when we decided to create this company and launch the first energy drink that's based out of plants, right? We've changed the kind of the way the industry is looking at beverages and that landscape. And while our company is still a very small company, we were the first ones in the marketplace to introduce caffeine into sparkling water, but we did it in a very unique way. And for each and every one of you that are here, like, you'll have an opportunity to try the product. If you see Andy right over there, he's passing out samples to everybody. So please feel free to grab a sample and try the product out. It's amazing, but the long and short is we use plants. We don't use something that's artificial or synthetic to power the beverage.
Awesome. So, Todd, I think we should go through your background and how you decided to start the company.
All right. Well, so we kind of have a unique background, within our entire company. We're loaded with CPG people, right? So I've been in the beverage business for a little over 25 years. I was a part of the team that built and launched the first energy drink here in North America. You would know it as Hansen's Energy, or better, you would know it today as Monster. That was the brand that we created in 1994. It's hard to believe that it's that old, but unfortunately, we are that old. So that was the first energy drink. We launched it out of Corona, California. We went out and we crushed it until 1998 came around and Red Bull decided to come to the United States, and they kicked us right in the teeth. Holy humbling moment. We went from flying high to barely could scrape sales together. That's when we had to reinvent ourselves from Hansen's Energy. We turned it into Monster, partnered with Tony Hawk, Go Monster. Unleash the Beast. That was his famous saying. That became the product. Now it's the single largest selling energy drink in North America, second in the world. So very proud to be a part of that team and that inception back in 1994. But even to go further beyond that, like, we helped build and launch a brand called Sobe. Does anybody in here remember Sobe? Wow, there's old people in here like me. This is amazing, right? So we built and launched a company called Sobe, and eventually we built the company up. We sold that off to Pepsi-Cola. And then after that, my first real entrepreneurial, I saw it from innovation all the way to sale, was a brand called Fuse, spelled F-U-Z-E. Does anybody remember that? Yes. All right, we're 2 for 2 on this one. All right, so the last one is that we created was a brand called NOS, spelled N-O-S, NOS Energy. Anybody seen that one? All right, we got a couple. They're hanging out in the energy category. Love it. So we built NOS, the brand, up, and then eventually we sold that to Coca-Cola. So we sold Fuse and NOS to Coke. We sold to Pepsi, Sobe, and Coke also took a 22% equity stake back in Hansen's, or Monster as you would know it, for $2.1 billion. So we've had a fun run building brands, and the long and short is we build businesses to fill holes in portfolios of major CPGs. That's what we do.
No, that was perfect. And what were some of the key lessons that you learned through these experiences and for your time working at Coca-Cola as well?
So first things first, I literally thought I knew everything, and then I realized I knew nothing about the business because the business changes so rapidly. Consumers change, right? If you think about when we launched that first energy drink, how did you talk to the audience? You went to People magazine, right? You went to Teen whatever, right? You went to whatever the publication was, and it was a magazine. You roll into the Sobe and the Fuse days. Oh my God, billboards are everywhere. That's how you make the connection. Who would have known that on your little device, you're going to have Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, right? You name the social forum, and there's a million different ways to advertise. And boy, that was a very humbling experience every time the consumer trends changed and you have to stay on top of that trend. So, realizing that you don't know all the answers before you get started, that is a great place to start, right? So.
Okay, so one thing that's unique about Yerbaé is that you have a lineup of celebrity and strategic investors. Can you talk about how that came to life?
Yeah, sure. So some of these people have made a bunch of money from our previous companies. I don't know if this thing has like a little. It does. There we go. So all these people that are right here in the middle, we have a total of 18 celebrity investors. Don't look at that. So we have 18 celebrity investors that are invested in the company. We don't pay them. They don't get free stock. This is literally their capital that they put into this company. And for those of you that are in and around the NFL, or you've got a favorite team, we might actually have a player or a coach that's actually from that team. So Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Lincoln Riley from the USC Trojans, Giancarlo Stanton from the New York Yankees, Nolan Arenado from the St. Louis Cardinals, Kellen Acosta from this really weird sport called soccer. I don't understand it, but it's a thing, and it's kind of irrelevant and important to some people. But we literally have 18 of these folks, and they're incredible. They're incredible human beings. And if you go on our social media, onto Instagram, TikTok, right, and you go there and you check it right now, right, you're going to see Lincoln Riley just before the NFL draft, 1 hour before his quarterback was about to be named the #1 draft pick, went on there with Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network, and he said, "All right, Lincoln, who's going to be the first round draft pick?" He pulls out a Yerbaé can out of his pocket, pops it, and he's like, "It's going to be Yerbaé." He spoofed all the millions and millions of people that were watching Tom Pelissero, waiting to see who the first pick was going to be. And of course, our coach, he literally spoofed the entire industry. It had 1.7 million views, had over 400,000 engagements. It was reposted 37,000 times. If you think about that, how many times can you convince somebody to repost something? Much less 37,000 people. Sorry, I'm standing up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Can you talk about the product? I mean, the main ingredient is yerba mate. Can you talk about this ingredient specifically? What are the health benefits, and also how it aligns with current market trends?
Sure. So in our previous companies, we had used, we'll call it alternative ingredients, because at the time we just didn't know. So we used an ingredient called taurine back in the day. Now we know, don't drink taurine, or don't drink excessive amount of taurine. My bad. We put that into a beverage. We also put an ingredient in there called glucuronolactone. Also, not a good combination. Taurine and glucuronolactone is not the best way to lead forward. So when Carrie and I, when we created this company and launched it, it was all around building with plants and health and wellness. We fell in love with this ingredient from Argentina called yerba mate. And what yerba mate does is it produces 196 different vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants for your body. But what we really love about it more than anything else, it produces natural caffeine. It's absolutely amazing. It's great for your body. Your body knows how to use it efficiently, discard it efficiently. So if you drink a few of these, you'll notice you don't get the jitters or the shakes or any of that stuff like you would if you drink 3 Red Bulls. You're going to be like, I'm shaking, I'm not doing well, unless you pour vodka, and then it's okay, right? But in our particular case, like, it's built for health and wellness, and these ingredients are great, and your body knows how to use it. And caffeine, I could go on for hours on caffeine. There are 2 different types of caffeine. There's acidic caffeine and non-acidic caffeine. Think of non-acidic caffeine as caffeine that's coming from a tea plant. So white tea, green tea, yerba mate, that's non-acidic caffeine. Your body knows how to use it and discard it efficiently. If it's acidic caffeine, coffee, artificial, synthetic, your body doesn't know what to do. So when you overconsume it, you start getting a little anxious, a little, filled with, that anxiety rush, and then you start shaking from it. So we love a clean source of ingredients, and a clean source for your body, and a clean source for your liver and your kidneys. And you never thought you were coming to an energy drink, presentation and hearing about kidneys and liver health. So.
Okay. How do you compete against Monster and Red Bull? What are some of the strategies that you've used to gain market share?
Okay, so when we approach the market, most beverage companies fail for one reason only, and they don't even realize it. They try to run across the entire country. They try to be something to everybody before they figured out who their audience is. So we've taken a much different approach. We said, okay, we're based in Scottsdale, Arizona. We are an Arizona-based company. We are West Coast, right? We don't have the ocean, but we're really close to the people that do. So let's launch the product there and in Arizona. And that's how we started. We started in the health food markets. And we said, look, if we are going to connect with anybody, right, we need to connect with those that are focused on health and wellness. And those that are focused on health and wellness, let's go really deep. Let's mean something to someone before we try to mean something to everyone, right? Sounds like a silly statement, but the reality is most beverage companies do that wrong because everybody thinks I'm a sexy company because I'm distributed in New York City. I'm a sexy company because I'm in Miami. I'm a sexy company because I'm in LA. And those that launch in LA, New York, and Miami have about a 99% failure rate, right? Wrong cities, right? You can launch on the West Coast, but where you should also test is Minneapolis, Denver, Dallas, cross sections of the US. You get a good cross section of the consumers across the country, lean in, learn your audience, build your brand, iterate and innovate off that of what you've learned from your wins and your mistakes. So.
That's fine. That's fine. A success story that came out of the microcap space in recent years was a company called Celsius, another energy drink brand. Can you share how Yerbaé compares to Celsius and, in terms of maybe market positioning and growth strategy?
This is one of my favorite topics. I think we even have a slide for this, right, Andy? Right? All right. So I'll skip to that slide. Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right. So is anybody in here not familiar with Celsius? I'm going to stand up again. Sorry about this. So everybody knows what Celsius is? A little bit. It's good. Don't drink it. It's not good for you. So Celsius is a remarkable story, right? Similar to Monster, Sobe, some of our previous brands. This company has done exceptional. But how many of you knew that Celsius was created in 2004? I mean, that's a 20-year-old company. That guy right there. He's the lone standout. I like it. He's on the cutting edge. So, but here's another interesting story. So Celsius, we said, okay, what is their trajectory and what does our trajectory look like? So we downloaded every EDGAR filing that they had from Celsius, and we roadmapped every step of their life cycle of a company, and then we roadmapped ours right alongside of it. I don't think that's me, but maybe it is. I'm not sure. But so they were launched in 2004, right? 2010 is when you could start pulling the data on EDGAR. And what was kind of interesting, from 2010 to 2019, which took them almost 10 years to get to the same place that took us 5. It took them $133 million of fundraising to do the same thing that we did in 14. And our brand is only available in 14 states. Remember when I told you the brands that try to go across the entire country without figuring out who they are first? That was Celsius until 2019. Now, they had a magic moment in 2019. Does anybody know that, other than the giveaway of Target and Kroger? Does anybody know what the other magic moment was that they had in 2019? No? They had this young lady that went into a Target. She bought a can of Celsius, went onto social media. She said, I drank this and lost a bunch of weight. And girls across the country went nuts. And do you know what happens when girls buy beverages? Well, the guys want to buy the beverages too, right? So what ended up happening is Target gave them a 200 store test in 2019. 200 stores. There's 2,200 stores in Target. So it's a big chain, right? They gave them a 1,000 store test in Kroger. We just got literally right now, right? We just set Target 2 weeks ago, right? We just picked up Target and we picked up the same exact Kroger sets. They use data. They are focused exclusively on data, on who they set, where they set, and why they set. And obviously that was an incredible moment for Celsius, and we're hoping to catch similar wind, and that's hopefully our moment that's right here in front of us.
Forward-looking statement.
So where are you focused in terms of, selling the product, distribution channels? What do you focus now, and how will it evolve over time?
Sure. All right. So I mentioned we're in about 14 states right now. So think of it as, I think we even have a slide for this too. So we're in roughly 14,000 stores within those 14 states. So think about 1,000 stores in density per state. As our brand continues to expand, our primary customers are Costco, Target, Kroger, Safeway, Albertsons, Sprouts Farmers Market, and the infra-natural foods markets, right? So you've heard of the majority of those stores, right? So those are our core customers that are making up the balance of our business. So of the 5 main customers, it's roughly about 70% of our total portfolio. The rest of it is either e-com or natural foods within that space. And as we continue to grow that business, we're growing our distribution. It's brought us into different channels and different spaces. And I'm not sure if this is a question that's coming up, but it's not. Okay. So what ended up happening is we ended up finding an opportunity as we're expanding in retail. We're finding that the consumer, while they're changing, you need to be relevant to the consumer. You need to be timely. You need to mean something to somebody before you try to mean something to everybody. So we leaned in and actually created the first university co-branded product with Penn State University. And then we said, okay, if this is going to work, let's go get the best colleges that are out there. I don't mean the best colleges from education, right? I mean the best colleges from engagement. So that means that we have the contract for Penn State University, right? University of Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, USC, and we've got a bunch more that we haven't announced yet. And we're going to be making these for their local colleges and that local density, which really helps us expand in a really big way within those local geographies. How do you mean something to somebody? Bring something to Pennsylvania that everybody is passionate about, a Penn State tie-in, right? Bring something to Georgia, right? So on and so forth. And we'll continue to expand that way. But retailers are also going to bring us to other parts of the country that we're not currently in. So we're not in Florida, right? We're not in Arkansas. We're not in New York City. And, we will get there, right? It'll be a year, maybe a year and a half until we get there. But as we continue to expand and we continue to grow into those markets, we're going to continue to evolve what the consumer's choices are within those markets.
I love the creative strategies to go to market. At what point does Yerbaé become too hard to ignore for the large brands? Like in the beginning, you mentioned that your playbook has been to build brands that will fill a gap in the large beverage companies' portfolio. So how do you see that playing out with Yerbaé?
So there's 11 key strategic acquirers within our industry. And for those of you, the natural ones are going to be Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper. That's easy ones. After that, it's going to bring into Molson Coors, Budweiser, Ashi from Japan, Ito-En from Japan, Constellation. There's 11 of them that are out there. None of them have a yerba mate in their category, but just because they don't have a yerba mate doesn't mean that we're right for them, right? So we still have to earn it. So the way that you earn it in this industry is, one, you have to stop losing money, right? And for us, that happens at roughly about $50 million in sales. So we've got a little ways to go for that. Two, after you stop losing money, right, you have to then show a trajectory that can get you towards $100 million in sales. And once you show that run rate, the current multiples for acquisition within this industry are 7 to 14 times sales. So that turns you into a very attractive product and to add into a portfolio. And then for us, we're highly motivated to get it to that level. So that way it pays off for shareholders, right? Pays off for the team, and everybody can breathe that sense of accomplishment of building that next great iconic brand.
I think we can open it up to questions at this point. Invite. I'll just repeat the question. So basically, to grow the sales, is it more about distribution or marketing?
I mean, it's a combination of both. Distribution's the easy part. Marketing is what's a little more difficult. So if there is a single biggest risk to anybody in the beverage industry, and we're not excluded from it, is we are not speaking the right message to the consumer at the right time that their eyeballs are looking for that engagement. So our job is to constantly innovate, grow, generate excitement. If you look at our social media, like we are truly garnering tons of attention just in the sorority space on these college campuses around the country. We had 7 viral moments in like the last 3 months. And within those 7 viral moments, we had over millions of views, tons of shares. It was just absolutely incredible. And oh, by the way, our e-com business, every time we do well on social media, our e-com just goes skyrocketing. So. No, well, we do have it under control, but that is going to be the single largest percent. So call it roughly 60% of all of our spend is going into marketing. Because if I stop spending, my shareholders are going to be screaming because we're not going to be growing, right? So my job is to attract as many consumers to it as possible. Thank you.
Okay, so the question is, why are you targeting the sports people as celebrity investors?
Okay, so I think there's 2 parts. So you have the celebrity investor, but then you're also asking about the college and university type program. So while everybody would like to think that those celebrity investors are very much male affiliated, most of them are 100% male affiliated. What a lot of people will overlook with next generation brands that are coming out is the Gen Z consumer is a different consumer altogether, right? Gen Z focuses on health and wellness, but they focus on active lifestyle, right? They're on college campuses. And going back to a question that Mathieu asked me earlier, what was one of the things that kind of think of as like a lump that we took along the way of the previous beverage companies? Red Bull, when they launched in the United States, where did they launch? On the college campuses. I'm humble enough to say that they beat me there once. I'm going to beat them there this next time around. So by partnering with the college universities, right? That's not a sports affiliated product. That's Penn State University. Penn State University has 4.9 million active fans. They have 800,000 active alumni and 100,000 kids on their college campus. We're meaning something to somebody, or at least that's our strategy, right?
I'm sorry, that's all the time we have. So, what, can we do the last one? Maybe just the last one, quickly. No, sorry, there. Yeah. Okay, so are there any international expansion plans?
Okay, so since I only have 2 seconds, no, we are staying in the United States. We're in 14 states. We've got a massive amount of geography. I know I didn't talk about this, but we're in 14,000 stores. To give you a size of the prize, in the U.S., there's 350,000 convenience stores in the U.S. There's 50,000 registered grocery stores. We're in 14,000 stores. We have so much room to grow here in the U.S. We have less than 1% market penetration, right? Long ways to go. Thank you.
All right. That's it. Thanks, everyone. And thanks, Todd.